What I want to do now is to go into the conditioning part that I promised I was going to do. All right, the arm rubbing, arm conditioning, Kotekitae. What are we learning from Sanshin as we do this? All right, first off, we're both in a right Sanshin position. We maintain the Sanshin arm position. Now, we learned in Sanshin, when we throw a punch, our body should move with it. And for the arm conditioning, you try to maintain this arm angle, all right? And yet, gripping the floor, all right? And this then becomes not a competition. What you have to do is you have to look at your partner as a comrade in arms, all right? He's someone who's helping develop the secrets of Sanshin. We're hoping that we're going to do this together. But the moment that I start doing this, if I'm doing it in a competitive manner, then one of us, probably both of us, will lose out on gaining the benefits of this program. Okay, so now we're going to do this as a group, but for the time being, just watch and learn. So we should be doing it together, not in a competitive manner. All right, let me change arms. And again. Okay. Now, from there comes the arm conditioning. The first thing that you should learn is that anytime someone throws a punch at you, you should deflect it. All right, no more looking at the punch and then trying to break the guy's arm. All right, so as he's throwing that punch, first thing you do is you move with him and you control the action, intercepting it. Then you draw from your wauki and tap. And again, Uechi and Tamayoshi, 1 year in tapping. In the tapping, the intention, or not the intention, but the intensity of the movement is based on how long you've been doing it together. But if he is a brand new student and I'm a brown belt, I'm not going to be hitting his arm hard. I'm going to tap. And then he throws a punch again from here. Again, 1, 2, 3. All right, now you all know this movement, so I don't have to go through it other than to point out the points of it that are important. I'm off and dry. All right, now here the second level is as he's throwing the punch, boom. All right, this is like a speed bag training with a boxer. And what we're doing here is to learn to move, in balance, and to be able to do more than one action at a time. Boom. All right, and then from here, I don't draw my arm back, but from here, I just throw the punch. And punch. All right, slow it down now. All right. You notice how easy this is? Intercept, control, counter. All right, y'all got that? Now, I've taught this a couple of times at UECHI-CON last year and the year before, and yet very few people do it. And I think it's because I didn't give them enough time to actually practice or to learn it, and then it sort of gets lost. Now, when you're at seminars and you're going to be working on 30 different secrets over the weekend, it's going to be hard for you to remember anything. And also remember that in order to make something a muscle memory, you have to repeat it hundreds, if not thousands of times, which is why it's important that you repeat these things. Grab a few things, the most interesting, the most important thing, and then practice it every day. All right, I want to send my team out now, and I want you to grab a partner, not someone you're going to compete with, but someone you're going to train with, all right? And work on arm rubbing first, then the double hits, Kotekitae, okay? Okay, can you stop a second? And this is what happens. See, a lot of you have trained for years doing the Uechi, doing the arm conditioning in a manner that Sanchin wasn't designed to help you with. The moment you take the punching element of Sanchin and transferring it to the arm rubbing, you notice my elbow doesn't change position. It is not a punching drill. It is a pushing drill with your body. That's what this movement is trying to teach you. The moment you're just trying to punch with it, then your body doesn't move. And all you're doing is punching from the shoulder. Hasn't taught you anything. All right? This is what you're trying to get. Try to feel the push of the movement. All right, try it again. Some of you are too close, and that's why you're bending your arm or you're getting out of range. And don't make it competition. Your partner is your training partner. You're both learning. And remember, it's supposed to take a year to learn this. You understand? All you're doing is you're punching. This is a movement. You don't bend the arm. See how your arm is straightening out? Don't straighten it. Use your whole body. And you don't have to move very much to do that. Okay, then change the arms when you feel you're ready. I want you to still be pushing arms. I'm not asking you to do this for a whole year without doing anything else, but it's just for a few minutes. Don't bend, don't allow the arm to straighten out. You maintain that arm angle using your body. The power comes from the floor. You guys weren't listening. I said you're still doing arm rubbing.
We're still doing arm rubbing.
Yeah, arm rubbing, arm rubbing. Arm rubbing, arm rubbing. Try to get it right. If we learn only one thing today, it's how to use your body for your actions. You're still, muscle memory is a punch. It's not a punch, it's push. See how your arm straightens out? Just straight now. Keep it bent. Okay, just pay attention for one more moment. All right, now you've done it, and you realize you developed a muscle memory. With arm rubbing, it's a punch, and you can't stop it because your mind is out of it at that point. And that's what Sanchin tries to teach you, to be able to react without your brain saying, it's time to react. And that time it's too late. You've already done the punch. All right? And this is an action where you're delivering the power from the floor. And you have to sort of relearn why this is a pushing exercise, not a punching exercise. You notice the moment I do that, all of a sudden there's no movement. And after a while, well, you know, how many times are you going to punch? You're not gaining anything from it. So now mark this in your catalog in your brain. I have to learn, I have to work on this. I have to work so that I can figure out why this is so important in my Sanchin, because it's there. All right? Now, the next thing, it would be arm conditioning, and I know what I'm going to see. But what I want you to try to understand, the first movement is simply intercepting the arm. All right? Conditioning is secondary. And the secondary part of conditioning is tapping. Just pretend you're a brand new student. And because if you're teachers, and most of you are black belts here, So you're teaching, you're giving this knowledge to your students. And the first thing that you learn from me is the first thing is you do no harm. You don't do something that could harm your students. So you're trying to teach them to intercept the block, a punch, and then control it. Control it. And you control it by using your body, because you learn with the arm rubbing that everything comes from the floor. And this movement, palm down, you're sort of pushing and you're intercepting in this manner. And a very important part of the block is the interception and then the control. All your Uechi blocks should have this elliptical elbow pattern and the downward action. That's the control. That's the movement. You have the opponent, you can take them down to the ground, you can throw them away. But every time you do that block, have that control action in it. Okay? Get a partner, and it's 1, 2, 3. Slight acceleration in all movements, no hitting, it's tapping. Your partner is a training partner, he's not a competitor. And you're not there to show him how strong you are, how hard you can hit, so that he won't feel any pain. If I hit him real hard 2 or 3 times, the nerve deadened, you won't feel a thing on hitting your arm. But you may be doing some damage, and you don't want to do that. Remember, Uechi Sensei and Tamayoshi Sensei said it's going to take a year just to learn San Shin. And then it's going to take another year so you learn how to condition. All that time, you should also be doing other things that are going to strengthen your body, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. Now get a partner and try to get through that first part of arm conditioning. Try to accelerate your movements without hitting hard. Learn to control your body so that your body will do what you want it to do. Change arms. You're doing well. I'm surprised. Block on the inside of the arm, not the outside. Nothing wrong with that, but for training purposes, the first movement is here. Okay? Now I know most of you are black belts, but yet I still want you to enter this exercise becoming a white belt. You're a white belt now, all of you. Okay, stop a second. Another thing that San Shin is teaching you is as you are punching, your foot and arm must stop together. If you're moving into your opponent and you're here, his opponent's right there, and your arm is back here, guess who's going to be hit? So make sure the timing, and there again, when we're stepping off, I told you, you have to finish that movement when the step is completed. So if you're punching, boom, the foot lands, the hand lands. I don't want to see any 1, 2. No good. Okay? Go back. If you haven't changed arms, do so. You're all doing really well. Watch the distancing. Okay, great. Face this way. Relax, relax. All right, now, some of the things to keep in mind as you're doing this, the timing, the accurate application of your Sanchin position. It's not out like that, it's not out like this. Distancing is so important. All right, if you're training and you're too close and you're moving, you gotta move back further or you don't move back further, then I can hit you with this hand. But if you move back correctly, I can't reach her. At the same time, you're intercepting. And you're intercepting with that next movement. Here. And control, that control action right here. Then the tapping. There you go. Now you step forward with this arm and punch. 1, and then 2, 3. You know, accelerate, but tap. That's what you have to learn because a lot of us went from learning how to do the movement to that. And you bypass the learning part. And you have to learn together. Okay? Now this next phase of it, as she punches, I intercept, and intercepting only takes about here. And then this hand comes in and pulls down like that. That's the woki, and almost at the same time you're tapping. And then from here, step forward. All right, and then tap, and then forward. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then learn how to not do that. All right. All right. Again, we're learning how to react to a stimulus. Happens to be a person who's going to take your head off if I don't act correctly. But the idea is you don't move until you're ready to move. And then, there you go. Oh, trying to pull a fast one off on me. Excellent. See how fast you learned? All right. Get your partner now. Let's see you go through it. It's just the arm, Kotekitae, it's just the arm pounding, but it's done in a little different way. You have to do it softly and slower, but always accelerate. Go for it. Now, I know it's hard for you, but tap. Think tap. All right? Today, you're not developing any muscles for your partner. All you're learning to do is how to tap in an accelerated manner. That's not tapping. That's hitting hard.
Why is tapping?
Okay, bow to your partner, line up. Again, if you're teachers, you should understand how to work with new people. And the new young people are hard to teach this way because they figure the moment they know how to do this, then it's time to beat my partner. Try to show them how tough you are. And sometimes 50-year-old guys do the same thing. They're still trying to be the kid, all right? Yeah, I know how to do it. I can pound the crap out of them. But for newer students, try to get them to calm down and spend the 6 months or whatever just doing soft tapping. And their arms and the bone will strengthen in a natural way. Doing it really hard right from the beginning, first off, people don't like to do it, even though they love to do it at the moment, but when they stop and their arm swells up or whatever, so they're not training as long as they should. And it's not the conditioning that's the #1 reason you're doing that. You're trying to develop muscle memory, so you don't have to think about it, so that you're not going to be moving and nobody's punching at you. All right? Your body is just relaxed. The moment you tense up, your body can't move, and when it does, it's probably too late before it moves. So there's a lot of reasons why you start off slowly, softly, and extend that as long as you can to get those movements natural. And stay away from the tensing up of your body in order to accommodate a partner that's pounding the crap out of you. All right, or a teacher who's beating on your body. And like my experience back in the 50s, when Tom Yossi was touching me, I thought he wanted to hit me, but he didn't think I was strong enough. So I said, Tommy, hit me harder, you can hit me harder. And he said, no, George, that's not the object. But yet on Saturday when I went to Uechi Sensei's dojo, and all of the black belts were off in the section while Sensei Uechi was sitting here and taking one student at a time through their kata. And the black belts were back there pounding one another. And so I'm a 20-year-old kid, and I'm looking at which way I should go. And naturally, I wanted to have Tommy work with me because I was taking private lessons with him. I wanted him to work with me the way I worked with the kids on Saturday. And he kept saying, no, George, that's not the object. And I couldn't get that through my brain. And so I came back to the States and taught a lot of it that way until 30 years ago when I started to realize something's wrong here. First off, I can't use any of this in sparring because all these blocks don't work. And I remember going to a dojo when they were doing sparring, and some student raised his hand. He said, Sensei, I can't block using this. And he said, you got to do it faster. So that's the way to solve it. You got to do it faster. That won't work. Because again, your brain is formatting and telling your body what to do. You have to build the muscle memory so if something comes at you, your body's going to react like it would if catching a ball. And if you think that way, and then you're not going to be tense all the time. Muscle fighting muscle. And then you have to figure out a way, well, how do I punch faster? And like I said, you can develop fast punches, but that's not your ultimate. That's not what you're capable of doing. Now back to the body. As you're going through San-Chin, and I want you all to get into a right San-Chin position. If you're barefooted, I want you to lift your arches and watch your toes pull on the ground and lock you to the ground. And at this point, get your arms up here, all right? Now, with your right hand, I want you to touch your belly. And I want your belly core muscles to tighten up. And that you should not affect the rest of your body. You should be able to hit and carry on a conversation. But if you do this and you do that, then you know you're not doing it correctly. That's the core muscles that you can tap on. That's your natural strength. And that's what Sensei should be checking when he's tapping you, hitting you here. And if you're a black belt, well, he can punch you, yeah. You can take a punch without your having to do that to take the punch. Now, I've given the same seminar hundreds of times, and yet very few people really understand that yet. And I still go and watch demonstrations on YouTube, and I say, I feel sorry for that student. He's just getting beat up, and that's not strength he's developed through working out with other means, building a strong body that he can utilize doing his Uechi-Ryu. All he's doing is fighting and muscle against muscle, which will make his body strong enough to take a little stronger punch. But that's not the object. Take your time, do the exercises, and when you do your San-Chin, any point here, I can tap my body and be able to take the punch. Can't do that with the head either. Hence, Uechi people don't move. And if a punch is coming at the primary target, which is your head in a fight, then you have to be able to move your body. And that's why I brought up gripping the floor. So as you're moving, you can grip that floor and avoid a lot of the damaging effects of a head punch. We don't talk about that because we don't touch the head. We don't hit the head when we're training. And that's something maybe we should look into. All right? We're not committing a crime by extending our knowledge of the human body and fighting and saying, well, this violates all codes of Uechi, where you're supposed to be stiff, immobile, moving from the shoulder. That's the way I was taught. No, explore your Uechi. Find out what works without violating Sanshin and understanding all the things that will make your Uechi stronger and enable you to continue Uechi into your 80s and 90s rather than retiring at 50 with all kinds of physical problems caused by improper training. All right, so think about that, and we're going to go into the second segment of my conditioning, and that is shadow sparring. How many of you know what the term means? Raise your hands. Shadow boxing? Raise your hands. We all know what shadow boxing is. All right, but what are you learning from shadow sparring that you're getting from Uechi Sanshin? The fact that you're moving, the fact that either you can have a simulated opponent where you can focus that punch, all right, while you're moving. The important thing in shadow sparring, as I teach it, is there are no pauses. What I don't want to say is and then pause. All right? I want you to keep moving. And it doesn't have to be fast, but I want you to use all the tools in your arsenal and no opponent, which means there won't be any focus. That is teaching you how to move. All right? We're going to do 3 minutes of it. And Justin, are you going to clock or something? 3 minutes. I don't want to see anyone stopping. I don't want to see anyone get tired. 3 minutes, that's a round of boxing. Can you last 3 minutes actually fighting? Now maybe you're lucky and you've never been in a fight. Maybe you will be lucky and never encounter a fighter. Not an opportunity, but a situation where you have to defend yourself. You may never reach that point. So therefore, it doesn't matter how you train. But if you're a Uechi practitioner, and Uechi was created for fighting. So let's see if you can fight. Ready? And I want you to keep moving. Go! Keep moving. Move all your body. Kicks, punches, groundwork. You're just doing kata. It's not kata. Just move, relax, relax. There you go. See, if you try to learn how to spar based on your kata, and you're doing your kata in a very rigid, robotic manner, then your sparring is going to be robotic. Move, move. Use your whole body. Let the power come from the floor. Move your head. Move your body so you can get away from the head punches. Some of you are pausing. You're hitting and then you're pausing as though someone's going to take your picture. Nobody's taking your picture. Just move. Get those kicks out. But accelerate the kick. Don't try to go full force. Accelerate. Learn how to accelerate every movement you do. All right, you have 1 minute. Now I want you to simulate. See that opponent. Keep going. But now you have an opponent. So when you hit, you focus for a half second. Just a quarter second. As you hit your opponent. And he's coming at you from all directions. Okay, stop, relax. Now how many of people are out of breath? I see a few of you. Okay, that is an indication to me if you are out of breath at this position, that you haven't been training as much as you probably should be. And secondly, it could be because you're using muscle against muscle, all right? Even in the last minute where you're focusing only at the point of contact, that only takes that long.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Live Dandy.